worthless!
Attention, citizens! Due to the financial irresponsibility and incompetence of your leaders, Cobra has found it necessary to restructure your nation's economy. We have begun by eliminating the worthless green paper, which your government has deceived you into believing is valuable. Cobra will come to your rescue, and out of the ashes will arise a new order. Take all your valuables to the nearest branch of Extensive Enterprises. There, all goods will be exchanged for Cobra currency.
Shalom, Yasharala Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. It's the brother Abba coming back with another video. And, you know, we just going to break down in regards to these bank runs. For those of y'all brothers who haven't been living under a rock like Patrick Starr, if y'all been keeping up with news, y'all obviously understand that last week there were a few semi-major banks, the Silicon Valley Bank and another bank, I think 3 total, that essentially had some sort of bank failures. And long story short, if you brothers follow certain economic channels, it's been, you know, a pretty major story. I'm not going to sit here and say that the economy has fully collapsed, but again, if you read the Bible, if you understand what's going to come upon the land, if you understand the economic state that America is in, again, you would have to be an idiot to sit here and think that the American economy is in good shape. If any of y'all have watched that speech by Joe Biden where he's saying that everything's fine, you have to be very, very simplistic in your mindset if you believe that, or you're just under a great delusion. I want to get 2 scriptures. First and foremost, let's go to the book of Proverbs. It says, "Wisdom crieth without, she uttereth her voice in the streets. She cries in the chief place of concourse, in the opening of the gates. In the city she uttereth her words, saying, How long, you simple ones, will you love simplicity?" And people let us say, oh, he's a simp, he's a simp. If you're somebody who believes that Joe Biden, this government, the Federal Reserve, this system that's set up right now, that these people actually care about you, the average American citizen, you're an actual definition of a simp. To tell you the truth, it's probably worse to be a monetarily sheep, blue-pilled, quote-unquote blue-pilled financial servant or slave and be a simp financially than to be a simp with a woman. I mean, they're both horrible, but in this time, if you're a simp when it comes to understanding the governmental system and what's being set up, you have to be a fool. If you look at that video that I posted at the beginning, these things are predictive programming. These things have been set up for decades and decades. You can't stop what the Most High wrote in the Bible. And the reason why I'm saying this, because I know a lot of y'all Israelites come on here like, oh, bro, stop talking about the Bible. Tell me what to do. Well, you niggas don't understand that if you don't follow the Bible, you can get all the gold, all the silver, all the different trades and all this shit. It doesn't matter. You can't outrun the Most High. You can't stop prophecy. What you need to do is you need to understand what wisdom and knowledge and understanding is and build up your faith, because a lot of you carnal Israelites, you're going to be the first one screwed. You're going to be the first one the Most High kills. A lot of y'all trying to outsmart the Most High. A lot of y'all jakes want to still continue to dwell in the world. You're going to be the ones who are going to get killed and destroyed. None of us is safe. Ain't none of us is potentially going to make it. So dog, either you going to continue to live in simplicity or you going to wise up and start to submit to the Most High's will, because regardless whether you submit or not, the judgment's coming on this place. His elect is going to be sealed and the wicked are going to be destroyed. And I know I kind of went off on a rant, but this is just the truth. It says, how long, you simple ones, will you love simplicity, and the scorners delight in the scornings, and fools hate knowledge. So hey man, that's it. And let's go to the book of I think it's 1st or 2nd Thessalonians and get they will believe a strong delusion. All right, so this is 2nd Thessalonians chapter 2. And we'll go to verse 8. It says, and then the wicked will be revealed, whom Yahawah shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. So if you've been seeing a lot of the rituals at the Super Bowl, the rituals at the Grammys, the Emmys, you've been seeing all these wicked abominations being set up. It's being revealed to you who is the wicked and what this society is actually about. Verse 9, even him who coming is after the working of Satan, with all powers and signs and lying wonders, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And for this cause, the Most High shall send them a strong delusion that they should believe a lie. If you believe a man like Joe Biden when he sits here and tells you that the economy is fine, when it's clear as day that the economy is crumbling right before you, the Most High is sending you a strong delusion because he ultimately wants you to be lied and deceived to. But getting back into the main point of this article, this is the article that I seen. I was gonna bring up some different articles, but this is actually perfect for this situation. It says the Fed criticized for missing red flags before the bank collapse. And this is talking about the Federal Reserve. And I've done videos on the Federal Reserve. I'm not going to go too in depth, but the Federal Reserve is the reason why this economy is being destroyed. The Federal Reserve is the reason why the money that you're printing when you go to the gas station, you realize that it doesn't stretch like it used to. When you go to the grocery store, you're paying $100 for 10, 15 items because essentially George Bush, Barack Obama, Donald Trump, Joe Biden, Bill Clinton, damn near all the presidents all the way back since Theodore Roosevelt and Franklin D. Roosevelt. And also I want to say, what's the dude name? Richard Nixon. They've all been in league with the international bankers to destroy the US dollar currency. So the Federal Reserve, again, is not your friend. The same people who have been raising interest rates and making it extremely hard to get a house, to get a car, for you to even pay your debt payments each month. They're the same ones who are supposed to be looking at these banks and figuring out how to get a proper grasp on, the financial institution. But they're doing this on purpose because they're purposely trying to destroy the economy. It's very obvious. It's very plain. Let's just read the first few sentences. It says the Federal Reserve is facing stinging criticism for missing what observers say were clear signs that the Silicon Valley Bank was at high risk of collapsing into the second largest bank failure in U.S. history. Critics point to many red flags surrounding the bank, including rapid growth since the pandemic, unusually high level of uninsured deposits, and its many investments in long-term government bond and mortgage-backed securities, which tumbled in value as interest rate rose. It's inexplicable how the Federal Reserve supervisors could not see this clear threat to the safety and soundness of banks to financial stability, said Dennis Keller, chief executive of Better Market and Advocacy Group. And you want to know the reason why it's inexplicable? They don't care about your well-being. They don't care about if your kids get food at night. They don't care if your elders are in a good home watching over there. They don't give a shit about you. They don't care about your retirement fund. They don't care about your 401k. They don't care about your lively state. They don't give a damn about you as a human being. And I'm being very austere and real with y'all because you got to hear the truth. Bruh, you are completely screwed if you trust in this system. The only thing that you need to trust is this. Let's go to the book of Isaiah 33 and 6. This is Isaiah 33. We'll start at 5. It says, "And your spoil shall be gathered like the gathering of the caterpillar. As the running to and fro of locusts shall he run upon them. The Lord is exalted, for he dwelleth on high. He hath filled Zion with judgment and righteousness. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of Yahawah is his treasure." You hear that? Your spoil will be gathered. So just like somebody's getting prepared for war, when they take all the prisoners, they take all the spoil, they kill the men, the women, and children. Well, your spoil in this time is your money. Your spoil in this time is your investments. Your spoil in this time is your savings. Your spoil in this time is your financial livelihood. But they're gathering up all you people, trying to take all your wealth, strip you to allow you to become a financial slave when they implement the New World Order, when they implement the one world government, when they implement the one world currency. So this ain't a time for you to be prideful. Proverbs 16 and 18, pride goeth before destruction. A lot of y'all been prideful. A lot of y'all been dishonoring the Most High's laws, dishonoring his commandments, talking shit about his son. Hey, the Most High is going to give y'all a harsh judgment unless you follow and you believe in his knowledge, wisdom. Stop denying the Bible. Stop talking shit about the ways of the Bible. Stop saying that the Bible is a book written by men. You want to know how you're going to die? You're going to die like the fate of men if you keep saying that. Let's continue on. So it says, knowledge and wisdom shall be the stability of that time. So the Bible is what's going to actually give you the proper understanding. If the Most High has blessed you with eyes to see and ears to hear, to be able to transverse, because the same people that you've been trusting with all your livelihood for years and years and years, they're going to be the same ones to turn on you. And that the fear of Yahawah is his treasure. So those who truly fear the Most High and have truly returned unto him, those are going to be the ones who are having a financial treasure, but not physically, but mentally, psychologically, and spiritually, because a lot of y'all don't really understand what's about to happen. But let's continue on. So essentially, let's go back to that. So it says Wall Street traders and industry analysis have been publicly screaming about these very issues for many, many months, going back to last fall. It says the Fed was the primary federal supervisor of the bank based in Santa Clara, California, that failed last week. The bank was also overseen by the California Department of Financial Protection and Innovation. You need to understand something. If the people who are regulating your banks are not doing their job, the bank is the foundation of this society. The bank is where everything goes, the flow of commerce. So if the people who manage your money are going off, sleeping on the job, allowing insolvent banks with some sort of leaven in it. Again, the scripture says a little leaven it the whole lump. If one small bank or another bank is starting to collapse, what do you think is going to happen with these other banks? I actually use, and you know, I know this is AI intelligence, it's not really good, but I wanted to actually show you something. I asked the AI to explain what a bank run is, because I'm gonna be honest, I've never dealt with it. None of y'all brothers have ever dealt with it, but it gives you some information. So let's look and see what it said. For those of y'all who don't understand, there was something that would when a bank fails, what typically happens is what's called a bank run. So this is actually something that I got from one of the AI chat writers. They basically wrote up what happens with a bank run, what are the effects of a bank run. So we'll read it, and then essentially I'm gonna try my best to help break down what's going on and what's more than likely gonna happen because of these small signs, which really haven't been small. If you've been looking the last 3 to 5 years, the economy is in a horrible condition. But let's continue on. So it says, bank runs are a phenomenon that occur when a large number of depositors simultaneously withdraw their deposit from a bank. So let's say 10 of us, we have money in the bank. We realize the bank's gonna fail. All 10 of us rush to get $1,000 each, which is $10,000. Most banks only have anywhere from 10 to 20% of the total funds in the bank. So essentially, if a bank says that you have $1 million in there, more than likely they only have $100,000 worth of liquidation, which is cash that you can deposit from an ATM. So when people realize that a bank is failing, they all try to come and take out that cash without realizing and understanding that most of these banks don't have that total number of money, because it might be invested in different assets, it might be invested in commercial real estate, you know, et cetera, et cetera. You get what I'm saying? Because when you go to a bank, you get a loan. That's how you buy a new car. That's how you buy a new house. So most banks do not have the funds that they say they have. So if you were to all go in there and try to get your money, there's going to come a point in time where the bank is going to tell you, hey, look, bro, I don't have your money. But the only difference between you going to a loan shark and you going to the local weed man and telling you don't have money is that the bank is literally what controls this economy. So if the bank has no money, that means your economy is going to go to a halt. Let's continue. So we read from the second sentence. It says, this can be triggered by a variety of reasons, such as rumors of a bank's instability or insolvency. Y'all can look up different times where people will go to Bank of America. They will say the ATM has no money. Y'all brothers can go to different banks throughout the last few years where you'll go to the ATM and says cash is unavailable right now, letting you know that they're short on the physical money supply, the actual quote unquote paper, the value of the currency, the fiat currency that's really not worth anything. They're running low on those dollars, even though the Federal Reserve has been printing money constantly over the last 20 years, especially the last 4 to 5 years since C19 hit. Let's continue on. It says, so banks' instability or insolvency, growing economic insecurity, and a general lack of confidence in the financial system. And all these things are happening at this point. Bank runs can have a significant and long-lasting effect on the bank and the financial system as a whole. And what our brother's been talking about, a new financial system, a new currency, you know, the digital currency, CBDC. That's what we're essentially moving towards, a digital dollar. Let's continue. It says causes of bank runs. One of the primary causes of bank runs is a loss of confidence in the bank's ability to repay its deposits, which is what's going on with these banks that have essentially defaulted or failed. You see a lot of people starting to buy more gold. A lot of people starting to buy more silver. Russia, they bought stakes in gold. China's buying stakes in gold because they have a foreshadowing that the US dollar is going to collapse, causing a huge economic downturn. It says this can be triggered by rumors of banks' financial instability, news of major economic crisis, and increasing uncertainty and anxiety among depositors about their financial security. Another critical factor contributing to bank runs is the asymmetry of information between the bank and depositors. In cases where the banks have engaged in risky investments, mismanaged assets, and ignored warning signs of economic distress, depositors may not be aware of the underlying risk and vulnerabilities of the bank. And the average person, most of y'all brothers are more informed than anywhere from 90 to 95% of people when it comes to finances. Now, you got some big wigs, you got some dudes on YouTube, but even then, a lot of the advice you get from mainstream YouTubers, a lot of them dudes is getting money based off of, how you spend your money. If you were to really tell people the state of the economy, we would have already collapsed because this economy is fucked. I'm telling you, bro, if you look up just look up Jeremiah Babe. Now, I know he's kind of like a doom and gloom Edomite dude who says you need to get, but I would say anywhere from like 70 to 80% of what he says is true about how horrible this economy is, bro. Where I'm from in California, the economy is, let's just say it's on life support. It's been on life support, but the economy in California done died, came back to life twice, and is literally on his last limb. You know what I'm saying? It's like the emperor. It's well overdue to get killed. Let's just keep it like that. And that's essentially the U.S. economy when you really look at it. So long story short, let's continue on. It says, in cases where so I'm going to continue on. We already read that. So this is another thing. It says, effect of bank runs on banks. So if many people are going to the banks trying to take out their money, this is what it can happen. It says, bank runs can have a severe impact on the bank's financial stability and solvency. When depositors withdraw their money in large numbers, banks may not have sufficient funds to meet the cash demands, leading to insolvency or bank failure. And I looked up the definition of insolvency, and I forgot what it was. Let me see if I can find it. All right, Salaki, brothers, I looked up the definition of insolvency. It just means when a bank's liabilities are greater than its assets, and essentially a bank cannot repay back its financial obligation. So essentially the bank can't do its basic function, which is control the currency, control the flow of money, and essentially allow people to get loans, essentially allow people to get, a form to be able to finance things, especially in this debt society that we live in called America. So let's continue to read it on. It says they're not able, it says right here, it says forcing banks to sell off their assets at significantly lower prices to raise enough funds to meet immediate cash demand. So essentially they have to sell off all their assets. This in turn can further exacerbate the bank's financial troubles, leading to a downward spiral of insolvency and financial instability. Effects of bank runs on depositors. So now it's going to speak about people who are depositors, people like you and me. It says bank runs can have severe consequences for depositors who may lose their savings and investment in the event of a bank failure. So if y'all brothers have older generation, they might have 401k, Roth IRA. If, banks start failing, I'm not even trying to really laugh, but, people who got savings and retirement, they're screwed. They're pretty much screwed. Or if you're somebody and you got like $10, $15, $20,000, $50,000 in the bank, basically, bro, your savings is going to be screwed because you're not even going to be able to get it out of the bank, and you're basically going to be screwed. They're not going to have your money. Your money is going to be erased. It's like if you wake up today, you have 50,000, somebody came in and took your 50,000. That's basically what's going on, because a bank is always going to cover its own ass before it covers you, because again, they don't give a shit about you. Continuing on, it says, in many cases, governments may step in to protect depositors' interests, but this is not always the case, which is why y'all brothers, you can Google this. Joe Biden and the government, I think they stepped in and they try to bail out the banks. And you obviously know where your bailout money is coming from, your taxes, right? Y'all brothers paying 30, 40, 50% in taxes in some way, shape, or form. That's how the banks got bailed out. But that's not helping you, because the government is taking the revenue to pay off its trillions and trillions of debt to pay off banks, but then who's paying for the debt that's already getting set for the international bankers? So it's a lose-lose situation regardless. It says, even in cases where the government steps in, depositors may still face significant losses, as governments may not be able to fully compensate depositors for their losses, meaning you won't be able to get your money back that you deposited in because they don't have enough money to cover you, especially if the government, they can't quote unquote insure your money, Let's continue on. It says effects of bank on the wider economy. Bank runs can have significant long-lasting effects on the wider economy. In cases where bank failures are frequent, it can lead to economic increase economic instability, hampering economic growth, and affecting employment rates. And just to let you know, all three of those things are very bad. What the government doesn't tell you is the real employment rate, because if you stop searching for work after, I want to say, 2 to 3 months, they don't consider you as unemployed. They just don't consider you a part of the workforce. The unemployment rate is only for people who actually seek work. But if you actually look at how many people in America aren't working, it's probably anywhere from 10 to 20%, especially since C-19 happened. And we obviously understand that our economic growth is not real growth, because all of our growth is coming from just printing out money and sending out money. I mean, again, bro, you can't fix the economy. It's screwed. But let's continue. It says, moreover, bank failures can trigger contagion effect, leading to a domino effect where other financial institutions become bankrupt as well. This can create a ripple effect that can spread to other sectors of the economy, leading to a full-blown economic crisis. So again, if you start to see major banks failing, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Chase, and all of these banks are not, the best, the most stable banking institutions, what's going to happen? The stock market crashes. The real estate market crashes. Student loan debt defaults. Credit card defaults. Personal default. Government, bruh, you don't know how many bubbles there are. I've done videos on this. Y'all can look this up if y'all don't understand. You can look up some of my old videos. I've spoken about this. You have anywhere from 5 to 10 major bubbles in different sectors of the economy that if a bank starts to fail, everything else is going to trigger. Now, am I saying it's going to happen tomorrow? Am I saying it's going to happen next month? Am I saying it's going to happen 6 months down the line? Bro, I'm not a prophet. I can't sit here and tell you when these things are going to happen. But one thing I do know is that they're going to happen, because at the end of the day, every great empire has to be destroyed. And this empire that we're living in, the last incarnation of it, the United States of America, this is judgment from the Most High. I want to get this scripture in the book of Habakkuk. So this is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2 and 2. It says, and Yahawah answered me and said, write the vision, make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. So the vision is that this place is going to be destroyed. And essentially, before this place is destroyed, it's going to be so bad that people are going to honestly wish that they weren't even in existence, because of all the things that are going to happen, especially when America, I'm not going to say the greatest, but one of the most biggest governments and biggest countries to ever exist on planet Earth collapses. You have to be able to understand the economic impact that's going to come on the people on the earth. It says verse 3, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it will speak and not lie. So no matter how much y'all try to smoke weed, no matter how much y'all try to focus on these Tatianas and go on Twitter and complain about the alphabet community and try to drown it out and say that God is love and God is the universe, I'm going to tell you like this. The Most High's vision is for an appointed time, and it will not stop. And you can accept it and try your best to submit and get in the Most High's good graces and mercies, repent, have your sins washed away, or you can get caught up in the crossfire. The choice is yours, because the Most High's word is not lying. This economy is going to collapse sooner rather than later, and you got a choice to make. The Most High is calling on y'all. Let's continue though. So getting back into this little thing that the AI came up with, it says this can create a ripple effect that can spread to other sectors of the economy, leading to a full-blown economic crisis. Conclusion: bank runs can have a severe impact on the banks, their depositors, and a wider economy. This can lead to financial instability, insolvency, bank failure, resulting in significant losses for depositors and triggering contagion effects that can destabilize the entire economy. It is therefore essential for government regulators, financial institutions to take proactive measures to address the underlying causes of bank runs and prevent their occurrence. And we can clearly see that Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, the people that a lot of these Democrats thought would undo what Trump, and Trump made this shit worse as well. I'm not giving him no credit for anything. He made the economy worse too. But we understand that this administration is not doing anything to help y'all. So look, America's done. America's through, and this is a telltale sign that things is only gonna get worse, man. So again, y'all can either choose to live in y'all delusions, or y'all can try to get right with the Most High. But ultimately, this is the Most High's movie. Never trust your enemies, and understand that things cannot get better. Now, as far as what should you do, I mean, bro, if you haven't been doing stuff for this at this point, I don't know what to tell you. If you got extra money, you can buy gold and silver, look into other currencies, but understand the other currencies are going to essentially be destroyed as well. They're going to get a one world currency. And we know, as an old brother I used to congregate with said, all roads lead to the chip, to the RFID chip, the mark of the beast. So you need to really prepare yourself for that and prepare yourself for temptation, because all that money that you're thinking about and all that, it don't really matter. I want to actually get this scripture. Sirach chapter 16 and 17. It says, woe is me, who would deliver me in those days? The beginning of sorrows and great mourning, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evil. What shall I do when these evils shall come? Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendments. But from all these things they will not turn away from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. Behold, this is key right here. Victuals shall be so good cheap upon the earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case. And even then evil shall grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. So these things that you're seeing in this society are going to get worse and worse and worse. Because you also got to understand something. The debt's not going away. You have to remember, because the Federal Reserve has printed so much money, somebody has to buy that debt. The government can buy its own debt for as long as it wants. China, Russia, whatever country, Saudi Arabia. But once they come calling in for that payment and America can't make that payment no more, all those trillions and trillions of dollars are going to be influxed back into America. And you want to know what's going to happen? The inflation that you're paying right now, which is pretty bad, as we can already see, 8%, 10%, 12, whatever it is, 50, real inflation, 15%, is going to literally go up to 50, 100, 200, 300, 500. What does that mean for you? The rent you paid that was $800 is going to be $2,400. The car payment that you paid, which is $300, is going to be $900. The bread that you go in and you're paying $4 is going to be $25. The meat that you getting that's $10 is going to be $50. In an economy that's already stagnant with growth, that y'all got to work 2-3 jobs to barely get by. That's why Yahawashi said this. Let's actually get it. This is the book of Matthew 24 and 19. It says, and woe unto them that are with child and them that give suck in those days. Meaning, if you're somebody with a family, if you're somebody with people you got to take care of, even if you just got to take care of yourself, the reason why he's saying woe unto you is because it's going to be very hard for the average person to get by, let alone if you got a family with kids, bro, and a wife and all these things. So be wary and be prepared, because this is just the beginning of sorrows. It is what it is. Either accept reality or get destroyed in delusion. I give all praises to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. Until next time, it's the brother Ash Abba signing out.